Hello everyone, I am Ritika and today I am going to share what is hypothesis and what are the types of hypothesis. So let's start. Hypothesis is a statement that is based on some evidence. This is the initial point of any investigation that translate the research question into prediction. It includes components like variables, populations, and the relationship between variables. A research hypothesis is a hypothesis that is used to test the relationship between two variables. So hypothesis is a tentative statement which is to be tested. These are the characteristics of hypothesis. Hypothesis should be clear and precise to consider it to be reliable. If it is not clear, then it is not going to be reliable. If the hypothesis is relational, that it should be stating the relationship between variables. The hypothesis must be specific and should have a scope for conducting more tests. So, sources of hypothesis, uh, the resemblance between the phenomena, observation from past studies, present day experiences, and from the competitors, scientific theories, general patterns that influence the thinking process of people. So these are the sources of hypothesis. And types of hypothesis: simple hypothesis, complex hypothesis, directional hypothesis, non-directional hypothesis, null hypothesis, associative and causal hypothesis. These are the types of hypothesis. Simple hypothesis, it shows a relationship between one dependent variable and a single independent variable. For example, uh, if you eat vegetable you will lose weight faster. Here eating weight is an independent variable, while losing eating vegetables or food is independent variable, and losing weight is a dependent variable. Like if we eat food, then it will impact on our health, like either we will gain weight or lose weight. Suppose if we do not eat, then we are going to lose weight. So here eating is a dependent, eating something is a independent variable that is going to impact our health, that is dependent variable here. So this is the example of simple hypothesis. And complex hypothesis, it shows the relation between two or more dependent variables and two or more independent variables. For example, if we eat vegetables, fruits, nuts, and everything like dry fruits and everything, then it will impact on our overall health. Like it will improve the uh, uh, our skin, like the texture of our skin. We are going to feel that we have. So there are so many things we will going to face, like we are going to feel some changes in our body because of these things, like eating more vegetable, fruits, milk, and everything. These are going to impact on our overall health. Like we are going to have experience, like suppose we are eating green leafy vegetables, and that is going to be good for our eyes. If we are eating vitamins and proteins, that is going to impact on our overall health. So this comes under complex hypothesis. And like two or more dependent variable and two and more independent variables, so this comes under complex hypothesis. Directional hypothesis, it shows how a research is intellectual and committed to a particular outcome. So like the relationship between the variable can also predict its future. For example, children aged 4 years eating proper food over a 5 period and having IQ levels than children not having a proper meal. For example, if children are not eating food properly, then that is going to impact on their IQ. So for example, we are studying about that. So it shows that if we will improve the feeding pattern of children, then we are going to see that that a positive impact impact of that on children. So that comes under directional hypothesis. Non-directional, it is used when there is no theory involved. It is a statement that a relationship exists between two variables without predicting exact nature of the relationship. So this comes under null hypothesis. So let's see about null hypothesis. It provides a statement which is contrary to the hypothesis. It's a negative statement and there is no relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. So null hypothesis is denoted by H naught. We all know this. And we also say that null hypothesis is a hypothesis of no difference. Look like um, so we set null hypothesis in a manner that is like we call it a hypothesis of no difference, like associative and causal hypothesis. So associative hypothesis occur when there is a change in one variable resulting in a change in other variable. Example of hypothesis, these are the example of hypothesis. For example, uh, consumption of sugary drinks every day leads to obesity is an example of simple hypothesis. Like one independent variable and one dependent variable is a, if we consume sugary items then we are going to gain weight and that will lead to obesity. So this is an example of simple hypothesis. All lilies have the same number of petals is an example of null hypothesis. So this is a hypothesis of no difference. So this is the example of null hypothesis. If a person gets 7 hours of sleep, then he will feel less fatigue. And then if he sleep less, it is an example of directional hypothesis. So it is in one direction. If a person will get enough sleep, then he will feel less fatigue. That was the example of directional hypothesis. If someone will not sleep sufficiently, then he is going to feel bad whole day and he is not going to feel energetic whole day. This is an example of directional hypothesis. Function of hypothesis, following are the functions performed by the hypothesis. Hypothesis helps in making an observation and experiment possible. It becomes the start point for the investigation. Hypothesis helps in verifying the observation. It helps in directing the inquiries in the right direction. This is the diagrammatic representation of a hypothesis, like the working of hypothesis and everything. So we first of all we define null and alternative hypothesis, then we choose a level of significance for this, like 5%, 10%, 1%, and according to mm, our choice, and then collect and analyze the data, and then we calculate test statistics like t statistics and all, and on the basis of the disease then we uh, and on the basis of result we made decision either reject hypothesis or accept hypothesis. So that's the first step is to define a hypothesis and then choose level of significance. On the basis of that we collect data and then we calculate test statistics and then we make a decision on the basis of the result, and then we interpret the result, and these are the steps of hypothesis testing. So thank you, bye. Bye bye. Bye.